Edmonton, Alberta is one of Canada's fastest growing cities, with a population over 800,000 people. With its thriving economy driving in prosperity, you think it has a bright future ahead. Unfortunately, the poverty rate is very high, with 18.4% of youth living on $1 a day. To fight this problem, down at City Hall, the Mayor Don Iverson and his Poverty Task Force has teamed up with a diverse group of youth from Edmonton. This group has formed some new ideas and proposals to fight this issue. But this is just the middle of the story, so we're going to take you back to where it all started.
My name is Stephanie White. I'm 23 years old. I'm Métis Cree from Edmonton, Alberta. I am a student at Grant MacEwan University taking my Bachelor of Arts degree. I'm also involved in a lot of community events and activities involving youth poverty and music.
Constantly dreaming, continually seeking, running from these demons. I'm making a collage, all I see is a mirage.
I guess you can say I'm pretty active in my community.
Well, I'm Brandon. I was born here in Edmonton. What I do on my free time basically is I go to the River Valley, I do a lot of art, play a lot of video games, and go to the gym.
We don't have to do something.
I also like to go see my friends. I like to sightsee a lot. It's beautiful. That's what I feel happy most of the time.
I'm Megan Vandergeesen. I am a human rights programmer with the John Humphrey Center for Peace and Human Rights. I am one of the lead facilitators for the Youth Action Project on Poverty, and I do some contract work for iHuman Youth Society as well, supporting youth.
My name is Troy Taylor. I'm also known as a hip-hop artist named Ambiguous. I'm the founder of probably the newest youth group in Edmonton, YDP. It's Young, Diverse and Proud Youth Development Programs. The John Humphrey Center for Peace and Human Rights asked me to be a part of this project and to collaborate in finding some solutions to present to the mayor to end youth poverty.
The Youth Action Project on Poverty is a John Humphrey Center initiative that brings together diverse youth from across the city to kind of gather information and reflect on different issues. And in this case, we have decided to align our project on the Mayor's Task Force on the elimination of poverty. We really felt that it was important to bring youth voices to the table. And so we brought together a group of youth. We asked two youth, Brandon and Stephanie, to co-chair and give them an opportunity really to be in a leadership role in that group. That was a big part of having them come on board. They have the lived experience. They really are experts in a lot of ways on the topic, and we wanted to empower them to feel that they could help to direct the program and to help to lead it.
This story is about hardships, friendships, strength, leadership, and fighting to make a difference in your community by inspiring others. This story is about youth in action. The fight against poverty in YEG. Since the fall of 2014, the John Humphrey Center for Human Rights has been putting together a meeting with a bunch of youth from Edmonton. They would meet once a week and discuss ways to fight poverty in the city.
He knows that, but he's not gonna, and it's like this unending cycle. So yeah, we have to find a way to break through that and have compassion, understand why people might be mad. Like why any of us would be mad in that situation.
This was a major event for Brandon and Stephanie because they're about to share their past with a group of people for the first time.
My past shaped me in a way that if I didn't go through what I went through, I wouldn't be here today. So when I was really young, about 3 years old, my parents divorced, and my mom had to make a choice whether to stay with my dad and risk losing her children, or leave him and be a single mother. So she divorced my dad, and I grew up without my dad. I never knew him. So my mom was a single mom for like ever. She's still, yeah. And so yeah, like my mom was a single mom. We struggled a lot growing up with money, or there was a lot of things that I didn't really understand, but I knew that I was always taken care of.
Past is kind of iffy on, I guess you could say. When I was a kid, to go way back further, when my mom found out she was pregnant, my real father left me, so I don't even know who he was, what he looks like, or anything. He left her basically to a place she couldn't afford. She lost the place, and so she moved in with a lot of my family members until I was born. And even then, when I was born, I never found, I never spoke, to be 100% honest. If I did, it was just gibberish all the time. And when my mom met my stepdad, to me he's my real father because I never had a real one. That's when he came in and talked, basically taught me everything. And that's pretty much what it started all. It was my stepdad basically helped me rebuild my life.
17 years that I myself have been in sobriety.
As the poverty rate increases in Edmonton, a lot of youth will face the same experiences Brandon and Stephanie faced. When Stephanie was homeless, she got involved in the gang life and was battling with a drug addiction. As time went on, this drug addiction affected her life drastically. Stephanie ended up doing some time in jail. During that time, she really wanted to change her life. Stephanie focused on her strengths, which was being able to open herself emotionally and talk about issues and problems that she was facing. Another skill she learned was being able to listen, and this skill set stays with her till this day.
When I got out of Palmakers, the music program at Eichmann was like available to me. It was free. I didn't have to pay for anything, and the people that were there were like totally willing to like teach me how to do it when I was willing to be involved. So music was a way for me to express myself. It was the first time in my life that I found something that I was interested in and that I was reasonably good at.
I'm making a collage, all I see is a mirage. Looking at this and wonder why nobody listens. Trying to find an interest, but now I'm stressing. Trying to get you down, but my mind's on the run.
It has been proven that social programs that offer art and music to the youth increase productivity in the communities. These programs offer hope and promise to the youth so they can voice their frustrations about society and everything that's going on around them.
I'm living in hell, in comfort I dwell, locked up in my shell, my story.
Music was an awesome creative expression for me. I was able to say things about how I seen the world in a way that felt good to me. And I started performing, and then I started getting asked to share my story, and I started doing public speaking from that, and like traveling and doing a lot of awesome things. But I also related my music and the things that I was doing hand in hand with my recovery.
Finally, the day draws near. With a traditional way of blessing from the Creator, Stephanie is ready to speak and share her experience with the mayor and his task force. Feeling strong and prepared, Stephanie is still a little bit nervous. But the best thing is, she can't wait to get her voice heard.
Thank you. This is the reality for some people. Just listen and do what you say you're gonna do, for real.
The day is about to begin as more people come into City Hall ready for these presentations.
I'm finally doing really well in my life. Trying to get back to school and make healthy choices for myself. I want to take social work so I can give back to the people who have gone through the same kind of stuff as I have. But because I have a criminal record, I was denied access to the program. I called an agency that helps deal with obtaining pardons, and they referred me to a branch at the courthouse to talk to someone. The person I spoke with at the courthouse didn't even know what a state charge was or how to help me. They told me to call the Crown Prosecutor's office to get more details on the case. When I called them, they just told me that I needed to talk to my lawyer. I was with legal aid. I called them and they said my lawyer has moved to a different borough. It's been over a year and I've never heard back from them. And whoever has taken over my case. I'm so frustrated that I just gave up.
We'll look through the John Humphrey Center to stay in touch with you about our work as it continues and how you can be involved in championing it as it moves ahead into implementation.
The presentation was a complete success. Unfortunately, Brandon was not present. Due to health reasons, Brandon couldn't make it to the presentation. Also, at the same time, he felt a bit skeptical about the whole thing because he's been let down so many times in the past when it came to poverty and fighting the issue. What Brandon really wanted to do was have a one-on-one conversation with the mayor. Luckily, the gears are being put into motion, and Brandon will be given that opportunity. The only thing on Brandon's mind is, what am I going to ask the mayor? Well, let's find out.
I ever actually talked to the mayor about poverty in general, both youth and adults, is like what are you doing basically? Like right now, like what I'm seeing, he's just waiting for answers. He's waiting for someone to say something. Oh, the mayor's a question. I'll be saying like, what do you have now that we can slow it down?
Finally, the day has come. Brandon and Stephanie got a chance to have a one-on-one conversation with the mayor. There was no city councilman, no press, or volunteers. Just the mayor, Brandon, and Stephanie.
So, what resources are we modeling currently or striving to model based on the other cities and or projects that have worked before?
One of the things that we've learned from your project actually is that there's an opportunity to think about how we do things like bylaw enforcement differently, and we actually passed a motion at council to take a look at this based on feedback from this youth project to make sure that we're not unduly criminalizing young people through things like bylaw enforcement on transit. And so there are lots of different things, some of which are going to require investment from employers in their employees, some of which might require investment of tax dollars in programs to support people, and some of which is just how we do business differently, so we're not unintentionally making things like riding the bus when you don't have any money or riding the LRT when you don't have any money into something that winds up putting you in the remand center, and then because you've got warrants when the issue was that you didn't have money in the first place to even get on the system. So.
That's awesome. High five.
Yeah.
I love that. I really love that.
We're not waiting for the waiting to finish our task force work. We're trying to take action where we can. And
I was
awesome.
part of
Thank
that
you.
task force.
Mhm.
I remember that. That was like cool. That was during the summer.
Take one. Action.
Yeah, and then just put it away.
Yeah, that was too cool.